get to the news. The House voted last week to pass legislation protecting same-sex marriages because everyone deserves the right to be secretly unhappy. According to a new report, the Biden administration isn't worried about Elon Musk's ownership of Twitter and doesn't view the platform as being a vital part of its political strategy. Said Biden, "The future of campaigning is buttons." According to a new poll, 37% of Republicans say they don't want former President Trump to run in 2024. So Trump's going to take that hint and just continue to run for 2020. Before announcing his Senate run, Republican consultants reportedly hired a law firm to compile a 500-page dossier on Georgia Senate candidate Herschel Walker. It was just the names of his kids. Oh, sure, now that he lost, we're all sensitive. During a speech on Saturday at the New York Young Republican Club's annual gala, Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene complained about liberal policies and said, quote, "You can pick up a butt plug or a dildo at Target nowadays. Or more likely, you go in to buy a dildo and end up leaving with a bunch of stuff you didn't need." That's how they get you. Wait in the car, kids. I'll be right back. Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema announced last week that she's leaving the Democratic Party and registering as an independent because if there's one thing she's desperate, it's for people to think she's indie. That's right, Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema announced that she's leaving the Democratic Party. No word on what kind of party she's going to. I'm going to say a Muppet rave? The federal government is set to run out of money on Friday at midnight, but it was worth it for those Taylor Swift tickets. Archaeologists in Florida believe they've discovered a shipwreck from the 1800s in the sand of Daytona Beach. It's surprising because normally all you find there are train wrecks. Take this picture. I promise they'll never use it in a late-night talk show. Comedian Dave Chappelle brought Elon Musk up on stage during a show last night in San Francisco. You mean San Francisco where a bunch of tech people live? How did that go?
Don't say nothing.
It's like bringing Mel Gibson on stage at the Apollo. They don't like you there. And finally, Bloomberg News published an op-ed last week titled, "We Have to Talk About Adolf Hitler," which was also the least popular song on the Encanto soundtrack. President Biden today signed the Respect for Marriage Act into law, respecting marriage. Wow, he really is undoing all of Trump's orders. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass yesterday officially resigned from the House of Representatives, which means she's the only person in Los Angeles who doesn't have at least 2 gigs. Me, I'm a mayor/congresswoman/waiter. When asked yesterday if he would consider leaving the Democratic Party like Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema, West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin told reporters, quote, "I'll look at all of these things. I've always looked at all those things, but I have no intention of doing anything right now." Well, he sounds like a Democrat to me. New York Mayor Eric Adams spoke today at the National Mathematics Improvement Project, but this is sad. He used the opportunity to promote division. Coming around, you guys, you know what's happening right now. You're doing the math on that joke, and it's working up. It's adding up. It's adding up. The New York Times yesterday released its list of the 93 most stylish people of 2022, and don't bother asking Portia from White Lotus. Sam Bankman-Fried, the disgraced founder of cryptocurrency exchange FTX, was arrested yesterday in the Bahamas. Oh, they got him, huh? I can't believe he wasn't able to blend in. Who fingered him? The humidity? HBO tonight debuted Pelosi in the House, which is a new documentary about House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and not, as I had assumed, a sitcom on the CW. According to a new study, people who use an alarm clock to wake up are more tired than people who wake up naturally. Though people who wake up naturally tend to be more fired. A cow in Virginia recently escaped from a trailer and crashed through the glass doors of an office. Oh, sorry, I read the punchline first. What's black and white and red all over? Another math joke. And finally, according to new research, taking the erectile dysfunction drug Viagra can decrease the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease, which is great because there's nothing worse than getting an erection and forgetting why. Who was here? The White House invited thousands of people to gather on the South Lawn yesterday to watch President Biden sign the Respect for Marriage Act into law because nothing says you have my respect like hosting a party and not letting anyone into the house. According to a new report, President Biden has been venting to friends and confidants about the media's focus on his age. Said Biden, "Can you believe this crap, Walter? How about you, Zeke? Jedediah? Oh, crap. Oh, I am old." President Biden today attended the U.S.-Africa Business Forum, but not before his aides reminded him several times, regular handshakes. In a new documentary about her tenure in Congress, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is shown talking about former President Trump and says, quote, "He's totally insane. Wow, he's going to be so furious when he definitely watches that documentary on Nancy Pelosi." "Oh, Nancy, you know, I know her." "Well, this will be fun. My old friend Nancy, there's a documentary." "I love my docs." After being arrested earlier this week in the Bahamas, disgraced cryptocurrency exchange co-founder Sam Bankman-Fried is reportedly being held in a prison notorious for harsh conditions. For one thing, no conditioner. In a new interview, North Dakota Senator Kevin Cramer said that he is not convinced that former President Trump is all in on running again and added, quote, "Losing another election could be very damaging to his pride, not to mention the Capitol building." According to a new survey, 32% of Gen Z are likely to call in sick at work when they're feeling unwell, which is shocking. A Gen Z person making a phone call. According to a new survey, 13% of Americans believe that they are worse than the average person at recommending gift ideas. Well, not me. Nana loved her rollerblades. We had a lot of discussion of what the picture should be. Mike Scollins, who wrote the joke and is, I think I can say this, a terrible person, wanted the photo to be a grandmother in a wheelchair holding up a pair of rollerblades. Whereas I think the one we went with actually kind of looks like she knows what she's doing. Like, she looks scared like she's seeing an old boyfriend. These are the kind of discussions we have. Now we'll have a nice, uplifting holiday. Hopefully the last joke is holiday-themed to sort of clear the palate. I see you're checking to see what it is, Baze, and now you remember. Let's watch the... Oh, no. And finally, the adult website Pornhub... And finally, the adult website Pornhub announced yesterday that one of the most popular search terms for 2022 was a type of Japanese anime. It's called hentai, said your son way too quickly. Merry Christmas. After teasing a, quote, major announcement on his social media platform, Truth Social, former President Trump announced today he is releasing a collection of digital trading cards. It's what his doctors are calling a new symptom. That's right, former President Trump is releasing a collection of digital trading cards that chronicle his life and career, like that time he won the Super Bowl, or that time he won NASCAR, or that time he went to space and didn't need a helmet. I know we always thought he was Forrest Gump, but apparently he does too. First Lady Dr. Jill Biden has reportedly grown more enthusiastic over the last 3 months about the possibility of President Biden running for a second term. Anything to put off her having to deal with a newly retired guy. Get ready, babe, because I'm about to get into model trains big time. The Biden administration announced today that U.S. households can now order an additional 8 free at-home COVID tests. It's the perfect gift for the person who has everything but isn't sure if it's the flu, COVID, or RSV. The United Nations voted yesterday to remove Iran from a panel that promotes women's rights, which is kind of like Arby's being stripped of its Michelin star. I think they still have one, because I think they got 2 Michelin stars. Goldman Sachs is reportedly considering cutting bonuses this year for investment bankers. As for how they're cutting it, with baking powder. All right. Not fair to say all finance guys do cocaine. Just the winners. Producers yesterday released a trailer for a new reality series called MILF Manor. MILF Manor? You mean Williams-Sonoma? Isn't that what that's called? What? I'm genuinely asking. And finally, a deer in India recently got stuck in an ATM vestibule, but good luck trying to get just $1 out of an ATM. And that was how Brian Donaldson ruined Christmas. You guys, that was a monologue, everybody!